Hey, GLP-1 plus size community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better. And my hot flashes are all but gone, thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Food has definitely been a very dominant voice in my head. That's not the main focus anymore. Dieting, exercising, and adding GLP-1s through Ro is a game changer. I have such a sense of mental freedom since I started with Ro. Food no longer controls my thoughts. Family time used to revolve around food, and now it revolves around what we're gonna go do together.
Welcome to the Plus Sides Podcast. Hey, Kat.
Hi. Howdy. Hello. Did you dig yourself out from the snow?
Indeed. Ice. No snow here.
I know.
Only ice.
We didn't get any snow or ice.
Nice.
When we're recording this, we're in the big snowpocalypse of the South.
Yeah.
We just got rain.
You did. We got ice.
I mean, we got ice, but
it's a lot. Yeah. Anyway, digress. So Kat and I are working real hard to make our intros short and sweet. So here we go. If you are a regular and you don't want to hear this nonsense, this is your cue to fast forward. We do it because we get new people every week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm Kim. This is the Plus Sides Podcast. Our podcast is an education and advocacy podcast about metabolic disease. So we talk about everything. We interview people who have dealt with obesity for a short time, for a long time, all different things. And then we also interview experts so that we can truly understand this because we want you to know you're not alone. And the experts help you realize it's not your fault. Okay. This is a disease. It's not your fault. I've been on GLP-1s for 3.5 years. I've lost 100 pounds. We talk about everything from like dealing with that my whole life to perimenopause to all the things in between because it's about your health. It's not a weight loss. It's not a weight loss journey. It's not. Okay. And that's who I am, why I'm here. Kat, who are you and why are you here?
It's a health and wellness journey, really. Mm-hmm. It really is. And a whole other kind of journey as well. Yeah. But I am Kat. You you can find me Cat Carter on TikTok. I don't know, Mrs. Cat Carter on Instagram. I'm falling out of love with the TT,
I'm
but
too.
you can
Mm.
always find me on the IG,
Yeah.
Mrs. MRSKATCARTR, Mrs. Cat Carter. Anyway, so I have been on the GLP-1s. I've been on Mounjaro. I say it just for you. For about it's been almost 3 years too. Yep. And I was the queen of stalls for 2 years. And then I discovered HRT and a little extra oomph and distracted by the dog. If you don't have the video, Kim is being stalked by her puppy. Anyway, so I finally did officially lose 100 lbs. I don't know what goal looks like, but maybe 20 more. I don't know. I might poo a brick sideways if I get below 200. And that's what will happen. Or maybe I'll poo purple Twinkies. I don't know. Something will happen. I have not been below
Check back
200.
next week to see what color poo.
All right, but that is like 20 plus pounds from now, but I don't know. I think
You're
that's
pretty
where I'm
good.
gonna I'll, if I get to 199, I'm gonna stop. I think I'll just be good
Honestly, you're
there.
looking pretty skinny. I'm gonna be like those obnoxious people that go, maybe it's time to stop. With my damn business. But you look skinny to me because the skinniest I've ever seen you.
Maybe I'm
We've been
saying.
friends for like
That's
14
what
years.
I'm saying. I have
Yeah.
not been below 200 since I was in my teens.
Same
That's what I'm
Z's.
saying. I might poop purple Twinkies if
Yeah.
that happens. I'll be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And
And
you
see,
heard it
like, I'm
here,
still going
folks.
through the peri and the stress and all the things, so I'm bouncing around, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you know what? And I can say it here, friends, Retatrutide's on the way. Don't you think it's crazy that Retatrutide still has not come out? I mean, like, we started
The
talking about
rah-rah.
it 3 years ago. It's still not out. Like, why?
They said 26, so here's just it's only January.
They also said 25 when we were in 24. Like, I'm
And
telling you, it's extending it.
and listeners, if you're listening, leave
Don't
us a
sue me.
comment wherever you're listening. And
Literally. Don't sue me.
toast.
I don't have any
No,
money.
listeners, comment what are your not your prospects, but what are
Mhm.
you predicting? What do you think is going to happen in 26 with the rah-rah?
Oh, speaking of, because this is what will be our nice intro into our new show today. While you are listening to this, go pause it right quick. Okay. And go over and give us a 5-star review because we need it. Right. And if you're watching, give us thumbs up, make some comments, tell us all the things, tell us you love the show, help us keep it going.
Mhm. And
Okay.
leave
Yes.
us your what is it? What was
Okay.
leave us your speculations.
Oh, yes. Speculating with Kim. Speculate with us.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to hear it. I want to know.
Me too. All right. So today we're going to talk about food and we are going to talk about the importance of it with these meds. And I know that you're probably thinking, but Kim, you have all these things that say that food doesn't really do blah, 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 blah. I know, but I don't know everything. That's why I bring people on here to help us. Okay. So,
Food technically can be your medicine.
what? What? What?
I said don't talk about the food. Food technically can be your medicine too.
I mean, it is a big part of it, and we
Mhm.
are going to discuss said part
Yep.
today.
Mhm.
Yay! Let's invite in our new friend and our guest.
Hi.
Well, hello, Anna. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you ladies? You guys are so fun.
Great.
Yeah, we're crazy. We always start our show with asking our guests, tell us about who you are and how you help people. So we'll start there.
Sure. So I'm Ana Reisdorf. I'm a registered dietitian, and I've been a registered dietitian for 20 years. And I've helped people in a lot of capacities, but currently I have a podcast and a YouTube channel called GLP-1 Hub. And my vision for it was that I would be the hub for all quality information on GLP-1 medications from a dietitian's point of view, doctors, healthcare professionals. So
Love it.
that's, all the free content that I create is how I'm trying to combat a little bit of the misinformation and anxiety and stress around this wonderful life-changing medication.
Yeah, love it. We love it. And I'll tell you, I think it's fantastic that you're here. We've had a couple dietitians on the show, and I think that it's important because in the beginning, I feel like it wasn't as accepted amongst the profession, and it's an important piece of it. So we're very glad to have you here. So you are a dietitian, but from what I understand, you were also a GLP-1 girly. Isn't that right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
So
I
tell
am.
us about how that came to be, or have you always struggled with your weight?
So I never felt that I struggled with my weight. My mother felt that I struggled with my weight.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember,
Women.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember in the 8th grade, we went to the beach and I was there with my girlfriend and we were jumping the waves and I was wearing my bikini and I was doing my things and I didn't think about my body at all. I was having a good time. And we came home that day and I distinctly remember her saying, "You really need to lose weight. Like you look terrible jumping in the waves with your bathing suit on." So since that minute, like it's like, I mean, I was what, 14 years old, 13 years old? That was in my head. So then it was, "Oh, I'll make cabbage soup for you. You can eat just cabbage soup." Or I'll take you to Weight Watchers and we can count points and we'll do it together. And she was from Brazil, my mother. And so in Brazil, it's like you do plastic surgery if you're not thin enough. Do the things. So for her, this was like helping me become like what was acceptable in her mind, what I was. So that sort of implanted it, but it was never something that I could stick to. Like through all of those diets that she tried to make me do, through all of the Weight Watchers, through all this, it's like nothing ever changed. If anything, I started gaining weight over time. So, I managed to keep my weight what I would consider a normal level, like my BMI probably averaged before I had kids, maybe 27. So I wasn't like really overweight. There's a couple times when I first became a dietitian, I worked at this weight loss clinic where people were preparing for gastric bypass. And there was a doctor there that was willing to prescribe phentermine for me. So I remember I was like doing 5 a.m. boot camp and phentermine, and I did lose about the 20 extra pounds maybe that I had, but it kind of crept back up. And then with kids, I had 2 kids and stress, and I'm a business owner, just a lot of things on my plate, and like nothing ever really stuck. So I was able, after my second kid, I got up to about 200, 210, which put me squarely in the sort of obesity range. And I just felt like I had to do something about it. So I was willing to make the effort. I joined this boot camp thing at the gym and I was counting my calories. I probably lost about 20 pounds of that, baby weight, but then it was just not budging. So I started hearing, after doing all sorts of other things, keto, Weight Watchers again, all these things to try to get back to a weight where I felt more comfortable. I started hearing this buzz around Ozempic in my dietitian communities. Like everybody was talking, "Oh, my patients are on Ozempic," because this was before GLP-1 was approved for weight loss. And so I asked a colleague of mine about it who works in weight management. She's like, "Yeah, it really works. Like it really is helping people." So because I had done the phentermine before, I kind of felt comfortable using drugs for weight loss. So I was like, let me try it. So I went to what is now, I think, Weight Watchers, which is Sequence, back then, and they prescribed me Mounjaro, and it was at the end of 2022. And it was right before it got approved for weight management. So they had like a coupon that you could get the time, and it was like
You're an
$500.
OG coupon girly.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
So it was
All
like $500 like for the medication. And so I was like, okay, well I can manage that. Like I'll lose the weight and then I'll just get off. So I think I was on it for 3 months and I lost, I don't know, maybe 20 pounds in those 3 months. And I felt like a good weight. Like I was like, I'm okay. And then I went to buy it again and it was going to be $1,500. And I was like, my husband will kill me. He'll be like, go to the gym more days. Like, eat some vegetables. Like, you're not spending $1,500 on this weight loss drug. So I got off. And that summer, I had a good time summer. I will be honest. I was not really paying attention much to my diet. We were like going to the lake and we had all these plans and we were just having a good time. And to me, good time means nachos and beers and doing the fun things. So I put the weight back on pretty quickly. Then I was like, okay, I know what I did wrong. I know that I can't just like be a good time party gal all the time. It's like not compatible with my age and my history of being more overweight. Your body's just ready to gain it back, right? So I went back on the medication and was able to lose that weight again. And then once again, because of cost, I stopped. So that time I did a compounded semaglutide because a med spa here in town was offering it for like $75 a month or a week, not a month, a week. So it was much less expensive than the 1500. So I got off again after a little while, and I was much more diligent about my diet and the exercise and the things. But then I just, after about 8 months, I started seeing the weight creep back. Just a little at a time. And so I met with a colleague of mine who specializes in weight management and weight maintenance. She's like, you got two choices. You can either do all of these things to keep this weight off, exercise an hour and a half a day, eat 100 grams of protein, follow a diet for the rest of your life, like really just be strict and like this is your life maintaining this weight, or you can just get back on the medication. Because you're going into perimenopause and it's not going to get easier. You're on an uphill battle from now on. And I was like, you're right. And luckily at the time, my insurance covered it. So it was only $25 a month for the last year. And then my husband lost his job in November. So now we're between providers and no insurance right now. But, I think it's changed everything about my life. It gave me a new business where my business before was not doing well. For the first time ever, I went to our annual dietitians conference. I had never gone before. And in the dietitian world, I'm like a little bit famous. Like people know who I am. I had a Facebook group of 8,000 dietitians for a long time. So they all know me. And I never had gone to this conference because I didn't want them to see who I was. And I went and I wore the cutest outfits this year. And I felt so good. And like, I walked in, everybody was like treating me like a celebrity, like, oh my God, it's you. I can't believe it. And like, that was like such a pinnacle of like what this medication has done for me. It's like made me who I am. And I'm so happy for it and so grateful for it. And then this community too. The community of the GLP-1 users, and I've made all these new friends and everyone is so welcoming and wonderful. It's really been nice.
That's awesome. Gosh, I related with so many of those things. Like and I'm sure many of our audience does. Like, I think that Kat and I always struggled since we were young. But we've had my mom was sort of like the way you're talking about. Like, she really didn't. She maybe struggled with 20 pounds, and then eventually it was like 30, and it kind of creeps up over time with age and everything. And so I think a lot of because I do think that when I started this journey, I didn't consider that. I only considered my perspective and how I struggled with weight. And I think that through this show, we've been able to just see so many different perspectives about how complicated this is,
So many.
really, really complicated.
That's true. Like, it's given us quite a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stellar group of people.
Yeah.
And you're right, like business opportunities. Something else to like kind of figure out who you are. It's pretty life-changing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering, because I kind of want to get in a little bit into what you do, right? And dig into these things a little bit more. So in terms of, I hear this a lot that I kind of know, but I want everybody else to know, and I would like to know even more. When it comes to a dietitian versus, now I always say nutritionalist, and I think it's because that's what my mom says, and Kat says, no, it's nutritionist. So what is the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian?
Sure. So a registered dietitian is somebody who has taken a specific number of courses, done a 1-year internship, and taken an exam to become registered by the Commission for Dietetic Registration. So there's like very strict sort of requirements to become a registered dietitian. Technically, a nutritionist is anybody who decides they want to be a nutritionist. There are programs where you can become like a certified nutritionist where there is specific training and things like that involved. But generally, like you could decide today, I'm a nutritionist, and start counseling people and just.
So I can be like, I'm a nutritionalist. You can have, and I'm going to call it that instead. You can have meatballs.
It's so Georgia of you, and I appreciate it.
It's my mama. It's just,
it's so Georgia.
She calls it a nutritionalist. That's funny. I mean, not funny, but like, but I mean, it's not that bad. Like people can like get certifications and like help it along. I'm curious, like, is like the gap, like, because we talk about time about how there's like this big gap between the amount of like specialists that are available and the amount of people that are sick. Is there a pretty big gap, like in how many dietitians there are?
There are not very many dietitians. I want to say 60,000 in the United States, maybe, but most of them work in the hospital because
Mhm.
we're allowed to practice something called medical nutrition therapy, which is actually like healing diseases. So we can write like tube feedings and like TPN, which is like vein feeding orders. Like more technical stuff is only something a registered dietitian can do. So
Okay.
it's like a lot of it is very medical.
Yeah.
Whereas, you as a nutritionist, you're technically not supposed to do those types of medical nutrition
Mm.
therapy. You can talk about like general healthy eating, but that's not to say that people don't do that and overstep
Yeah.
their scope.
Yeah. I get that. Well, my scope is meatball sandwiches, so I'll just stay in my corner. I always say that, like I tease, I'm like, I don't need to be your coach, guys. I eat meatball sandwiches. I've had a 6-inch meatball sandwich 6 months ago, and I don't know why I keep talking about it like I eat it all the time. But it's funny because I
Hilarious.
think a lot of people that want to be like coaches, they're say they're nutritionists. See, I said it right that time.
Mhm.
That happens, I
Yeah.
feel like a lot. They kind of come, but it's good to know the difference because I do remember we've had doctors on the show before that have said like that people who are registered dietitians are like highly educated, right? It's not just like a
Mhm.
certification. Like you have to do a lot of things to become a dietitian, right?
Yes. Yes. And I don't want to down people that are nutritionists because I'm sure there's many ways they can help.
No, it's fine. Down them. No, I'm kidding. That's not what I meant. I meant like understanding the difference is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to range on the spectrum of those who like really take it seriously and have gotten certifications and further education versus those who just decided, oh, I kind of like
Yeah.
nutrition. I'm going to talk to people about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is okay too. We're just saying, know the difference. And don't call them nutritionalists.
Not that.
What is Georgia? I don't know. I'm getting really like fancy. I fancy the nutritionalist the way you say. Anyway,
We've been friends
all
long
right.
enough now that
Let
she's
us not digress. All right. So,
you
what did
know,
you say, Kim?
I said we've been friends long enough now that you're like, Kim, you're saying this wrong. Oh, thanks.
But it tickles me. Anyways. Anyway, so in the beginning, I've noticed that maybe like some dietitians and nutritionists, not darn it, Kim, nutritionists might have been leery with GLP-1s. Has that changed? If so, how? Do we need more change? And if so, what's going to get us there?
I will say that I went to our annual dietitian conference and there was a presentation going on with Summer, who you guys probably know,
Yeah.
and Dr. Spencer and Ashley Koff. They were presenting, they were the panel. And they started the presentation with who is a fan of GLP-1s. And I raised both of my hands. And Gianna Beasley, who you guys probably also know,
Yeah.
also raised her hand. I hear her screaming in the back in a room of like 400 or 500 dietitians. And we were the only ones.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got work to do.
That is some tea.
We've
How
got
many
work
do
to
you
do.
think were
That's all.
actually on it and fibbing about it? That's the next tea.
I mean, several came up to me during the
Yeah.
I don't know if they were in that room at that particular time, but
Yeah.
during the conference saying that they were on it.
Wow.
So it's not uncommon,
Yeah.
but I was just shocked because
Yeah.
I was like, hell yes. Like,
You thought everybody was gonna be like all
and I hear
that.
Gianna back there because she's not quiet,
No.
and yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But they came to you afterwards, right? Is that what you said? That makes me think of how like, oh, I was very quiet about me taking mine. And then Kim started making content like 3 years ago. And I was like, oh, you're on it too? Because I've been real quiet for about 6 months. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I think the dietitians have had a hard time
Mhm.
with it. I think that many of them have been trying to push people away from wanting intentional weight loss for a long time. There is a faction of our community that's really into this health at any size, intuitive eating aspect, just accept yourself. This is fine. So I don't want to say how many dietitians are on that camp, but there are many and they are loud. So they are like, if you go to some of their pages, they are like, GLP-1 is going to kill you. This is why you shouldn't go for it, blah, blah, blah. whatever. And then I think that there's a portion that maybe feel threatened,
Yeah.
like it's going to take away our job,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to make our job more important.
Agreed.
And then dietitians in general are like scared people.
Really?
They want to be correct. They want to be right. They always want to provide research back information, which is great. But this space is moving too fast to do that. Like one of them I said the other day in a presentation I gave, I said, you guys gotta be loud. They need you. They need you to tell you the right things, or else it's some influencer on TikTok that's telling them. And that person it's not you. And that person is saying all the wrong things. Like some of the things that I hear, somebody was like, oh, take this supplement and it'll cure your liver, fatty liver. And I'm like, no, it will not.
No.
Like, okay, no.
Yeah.
So I was saying, and the dietitian was like, I just don't know enough. I'm too scared. I was like, you know so much more than any of them.
Yeah.
They need you. Like, even if you know this much, like share it.
Yeah.
Say something. Like, I haven't been a clinician for a long time. I am not a GLP-1 expert.
Yeah.
I started a podcast, started interviewing people that were experts.
Yeah.
So I could learn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now they can watch your podcast and this one and learn.
That's right.
Right? Like, that's what's so great. And like, I think it's wonderful that you've done this, because I think that, just like you said, and I will say in the beginning, like, Sakana and I have been at this quite a while. And so we were deep in the stigma, like 3.5 years ago, I mean, it's still pretty bad, but we've made a lot of changes, and for better or for worse, that's because Weight Watchers got in the game. I'm telling you, they got in the game, and their PR machine started turning this ship. So for better or for worse, and I ain't a fan, people know, but
they were a catalyst.
They were a massive catalyst. Yeah. So I'm thankful, looking back, even though it was very traumatic, I'm very thankful for their entrance into the space. I really am. But I think that even when that happened, there's a lot of different people, because I'm curious what you think too. That's why you're here. There's a lot of different, I think, this medicine, and it being this groundbreaking thing that it is for obesity, of course, type 2, but for obesity, pushes on everything. It pushes on the food system. It pushes on the medical system. It pushes on fashion. It's pushing on, like, everybody is they're seeing the impact, and the amount of people that we already know that can get the medicine is still very low, right? Compared to how many people are sick, right? So, but it's affecting everything. And I think that anytime something new comes in, like, there are always early adopters, but most people are kind of like, right? And I do think that I've seen it with, like, fitness instructors. I've seen it with I've even seen with doctors. Like, doctors are like, I can give my patients that diabetic medication. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they just haven't taken the steps to read the studies and understand this information. And the thing is there are plenty of doctors that are obesity specialists in this space that have taken that data and read through it and break it down into simplification patient terms, so we understand what it means. That has been the difference in this, is being able to speak in the way that we can speak, right? Because very few people, if you're not a dietitian or if you're not, a doctor, are going to go and read a bunch of these studies, or maybe even necessarily understand them, right? But the context and the expertise of having these experts on, I think, is really important. Honestly, I think that, so I don't think it's just dietitians only. So I don't want to, like, villainize them. I think it's anybody in any space. When this was coming, you think it maybe my job isn't needed anymore, right? And I agree with you. I think that, on the contrary, right? There is a massive, and we talked about this on your show, there is a massive wave that is about to hit us, and it's going to be in the summer of this year, when all of these people on Medicare and Medicaid get access to this medicine, or when people start already with the Wegovy pill at $150. They are not going to know what to eat. People are going to be at home. It's going to, because we don't have the infrastructure to support it, which is why we need shows like yours and like ours and all of it. We are the infrastructure. So I think it's really important, and that we, especially with these dietitians, get them on board, because we need you now more than ever. Because, and not only for being on the journey, because look, I think we all know, if you're in a deficit, you're going to lose, right? For the most part. How much you lose, how fast you lose, that's a crapshoot, right? But ultimately, like, at some point, there's maintenance, right? There's all these other things that affect weight outside of just insulin resistance and, obesity and all these other things. You have to know how to be able to eat in a way that's best for your body type. Quick pause here. I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs forced me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Size Podcast is partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus-sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus-sides. Don't forget the Z. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again, and the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper, with results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
How about you and Gianna? Like you and Gianna, and then we have another
Summer.
friend.
Summer and
Summer, yeah. Yep, Summer does. Summer makes content, and she does stuff with Vineyard. Yeah, with Vineyard, right? Yeah. So I think we need more and more content like that, and in ways that I think that we can understand. I think that I am curious before we move on. Do you feel like when people come to you, like how thick is a diet culture when you're talking to them? Like how much are they like talking about points and restriction and all of these different things?
It's kind of painful. And honestly, this when I say new generation, it's the new old generation that's coming on to this medication. People over 60, 65 that are going to finally get access to it.
Yep.
They are deep.
It's
going to have to retrain their entire brains. Like they cannot let go of the need. One of them wrote me this long message about how she's terrified of oatmeal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like
I am too, but it's gross. That's why.
If it's a preference, you don't have to
Bible. You just don't put the right stuff in it.
I'm just kidding. I overdid it. That's why.
If you don't like it, don't eat it. Like that's fine. But to be afraid, like it's the thing that's gonna be if you gain weight, like is crazy. And like people get very upset about it. Like, and but with that population too, they're also dealing with a ton of medical conditions.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just weight. Like, yeah, maybe if they lose weight, their diabetes will improve or their cholesterol or their whatever. Yes, but they may need to do something else. So that's really where the dietitians are even more important. And it's like, you lost 50 pounds and your diabetes is still out of control. Why?
Yeah.
Let's figure that out. That's where the dietitians can really shine, is helping them figure out when they don't get the results or something else comes up or
what about with maintenance? Like what if they do lose 50 pounds and maybe they lose access or maybe they're even on it? Like, cause I think that, I've perimenopause is kicking my ass, but like I bounce around 10 pounds constantly. It's awful. Like, and there is no more for me. This is it right now. You know what I mean? But like, I will tell you, I often think to myself, like, I'm like, I know, even now, all these things I know, I've been interviewing these experts for 3 years, all these things I know, still I'll go, yeah, but I could diet culture the shit out of this. And I for sure could lose 30 pounds. Like I could do it. I could, but then I'm like, but when I talk to the doctor about it, they're like, okay, all right, let's say you do.
Mhm.
What's that going to be like for you up here? Right. And when you do that also, like, cause Kat knows I've been really, other than just recently, been really into exercising and how much that's helped. So there's lots of different things I think that come into this journey, but there is a certain piece of this that I think that a lot of people don't talk about. And I'm not trying to be negative when I talk about it. You do have a cap. Like these do cap. Now your cap might be your goal weight, right? Or your cap might not be, right? And that is because of the set weight theory. And we talk about that, a lot on the show.
Mhm.
The only reason I want people to understand that is because I don't want them to get in the place mentally where they're like, what am I doing wrong? What have I done wrong? What am I doing wrong? I must be something wrong. It's me again, But I think you and I talked about something on your show that I think is important. I said to you, what are we going to do? The PCPs are the first line of defense, and people who are 65-year-old plus, they're going to be getting access to this medicine, and not even them, even people like me and younger, right? What are we going to do? Their doctors are either don't know, right? The PCPs, or they don't have the time. And you said something I thought was really important, and I'd love for you to say it here about how you think we can solve for that.
I mean, it's the dietitian.
Yeah.
That's where the answer is. The dietitian has the time.
Yes.
The dietitian can explain to the patient, like, yes, Kim, you lost 100 pounds, but that could be where your body is going to be. And like, deal with the emotions that might come up around that. I'm not diagnosing you here on the
No, I know. Although maybe,
Maybe,
Yeah.
but like I think that the dietitian has time, and almost every insurance will cover at least a couple of dietitian visits a year. Something like 90% of insurance plans will.
Yeah.
So I think they're underutilized. And I think that the population, especially those over 65, really need the support.
Absolutely. Especially because if you're thinking of just like time-wise, in terms of diet culture, man, that's where it is, right? That's where it is. I really think that like Gen X especially, but like Gen X and the boomers, like we are thick in diet culture. Like it is a mental issue for us. Like I think that, so I agree. And I think it was fascinating that you said that, because I think that I worry because people come to me and like I am hypoglycemic. Like, they come to me and ask me these questions. I'm not a doctor. I am not a dietitian. I don't need to be telling you what to do with your body. So what I do is I sort of have been trying to empower people with the language to have the conversations to get what they need. But I love the idea of go ahead and check your insurance and see if you can meet with a dietitian, because having somebody to talk to that actually knows a lot about food and how it works in the body, as opposed to me, who's, diet culture queen, right, is important. And I think that it would be wonderful if more of the dietitians, right, would be able to do this, because 2 reasons. 1, it'll help us a lot. And 2, it would be a whole booming business for them, because we are all desperate for care. So whatever we got to do, I am on board, because I think that it would be great. And we can put it all over the show or whatever, so people know way to go to it. Do you know if Medicare and Medicaid, if they cover dietitians? They do.
Yep.
Listen to that, friends.
Yep.
So anybody that's listening, I do have plenty of people that are, 50 and between 50 and honestly 70 and 75, even that listen to this show. Like if even if it's not you guys, like it is your parents, like it is your grandparents, like depending on who's listening, right? This exists, right? So having this ability now, I think, again, like mentioning that we need them to understand it better. And I love that your show is providing that. That's so wonderful.
Yeah. For the Medicare and all of that, I believe there are some limitations around medical conditions that they'll cover, but it's pretty easy to check that.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
it depends
also
on what you have. Like
we
if
do
you
want
have
to,
diabetes or kidney disease, then you'll
Yeah.
get more or that kind of stuff. So there might be some limitations.
The one thing that they had adjusted for the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act, I believe, was, I know, having to have access to specialists, and I don't know if dietitians was part of that. I need to look that up.
We
Sorry.
always get forgotten. I remember I worked at this big hospital. They built this big, beautiful hospital. They spent bajillions of dollars.
Yeah.
They forgot to put an office for the dietitians.
Oh my God. Just forgot.
Sorry. And then we had to be like in a shared office with like the admin people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's great. Oh, you're absolutely fine. You know what? You mentioned something earlier before I get into my question. When you mentioned, let's say, dietitians and nutritionists are kind of scared to get into this space because you have the body positivity, the movement, and all of this kind of working together. And I have always been in the belief where I think it all can live together as one. You know, like I am still in a large body. I love fitness. I love to move. I still feel and support body positivity. So it's very kumbaya, but there's a place for it all to meet in all the circles.
And it's a place that nobody has ever been before. So that's like that's a whole thing.
Well,
I did not know that.
I would love to see us. I'd love to see us get all on board with this is a reality.
Mhm.
You know, and yes, I also believe that we don't all need to be a size 2 and we should accept different body shapes and all of that. Like, I don't think that that's a bad message, but I feel like it went a little far
Yes.
in my community.
But like, if you think about it, the message likely existed because people were doing all of the right things and the body was staying the same or not getting into a small body. And so the assumption was, okay, well, we need to just like accept the body. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you can also be in a healthier body that is a smaller body and a healthier body and still love it. Like Kat and I are still in big bodies, you know, like I'm a 14, 16, you know, but I was a 26, 28 when I started. And it's not as much even like that. Like you mentioned, like feeling good and being in clothes and all of those things. Like we all we're a tribal, you know, we want to be with people and be accepted, and all of those things are okay. Like but I think that's true, Kat. Like I do think that, but I don't think it's a place we've ever been before where you can be healthy, look healthy, right? And feel healthy in like all these different ways. Like I don't think we've ever thought it was possible. And that's why we would see people, for example, in the fitness industry, because Kat's very big into athletics, always has been, that disordered eating runs very, very big there. Like so I think like this is a whole new, again, pushing on more systems and more, you know, stigmas, right?
Well, I wanted to bring on an RD that practices in that way to talk. And I honestly had a hard time finding one that didn't immediately have GLP-1s are the worst. They're going to kill you, like as primary on their, you know, Instagram.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have an antagonistic conversation with somebody. I wanted to have an open conversation, ask them questions like, how are they managing this? What are their thoughts around it? So I did find somebody who was also a diabetes specialist. So she had the point of view where she was using the medications long ago for the diabetes management. So she understood the value of them already and was able to like actually talk in a productive way.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I need to watch that episode. That sounds great. Yeah.
All right. So let's demystify something.
Okay.
Can you help us define macros? What is it? How do we use it? And does it help us on our GLP-1 health journeys? All of that.
Sure. So we've got macros, which stands for macronutrients, which is the nutrients that we need in larger quantities, right? So that's different than micronutrients, which are the ones we need in smaller quantities. So macros are your carbs, fats, and proteins. So they're the basic tenets of what gives you calories, which is just a unit of energy. So fat has a little over double the calories per gram than the carbs and the protein, right? So ideally, you know, a macro-based diet, and I don't want people to think that I'm telling them to track it or count it or obsess about the macros or any of that. The way I look at the macro for my personal diet is I know I need carbs, fats, proteins, right? Proteins being of primary importance with the GLP-1 for the muscle loss and all of that. So that's how I start my meal. Where is my protein?
Yep.
Then I add a carb, which for me, I like it, especially on days when I don't have a big appetite. I like it to be fruits and vegetables because those are going to be your most nutrient dense. And that is not to say that I don't eat pasta or rice or any of those things, just I don't always have room for all of that. So I know that I need my fruits and vegetables. And then the fats I try to do, you have olive oil for cooking or avocado or some type of healthy fat. I feel like if you eat protein, you naturally tend to kind of get fat with that a lot. So I don't concern myself too much about the fats. So that's what I would consider a macro balanced meal. It's one that has those carbs, fats, and proteins. Now, you can get into tweaking your macros in a whole variety of ways. And, I've done those diets before where on exercise days, my carbs were 40% and on non-exercise days, they were 25%. And that moved all the other macros around and how many calories I could get from each one. And I'll be honest, like it's difficult. And with the GLP-1, pretty unnecessary.
Okay.
Honestly, I would tweak it. I'd I'd end up having to eat something at the end of the day that I wasn't really hungry for, but it didn't my macros. I was still short on my whatever macro. And so I'd have to find something that was just a protein or just a carb and didn't have any of the others. And macronutrients are very important. So are micronutrients. And the micronutrients are your vitamins and minerals. But my recommendation would be is get your protein, get your fruits and vegetables. You probably have about 95% of that covered with a lot less stress.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good advice. So is that why people think that are dietitians? They're like, no, like people are going to prioritize protein, fruits, and vegetables. They don't need me anymore. Like, is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, no, I think that it's that they just think, oh, well, you guys were only coming to me for weight loss. So now you lost weight. So you don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
But a lot of people lost weight and then became vitamin deficient because they didn't lose it correctly. They lost muscle. All of a sudden, like I said, their diabetes still isn't better. Like there are so many things that come up, or they have a plateau.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things a dietitian could help you with.
Yeah, absolutely.
That yes, the basics, like a basic healthy person who can like manage what I just said, maybe doesn't need a dietitian.
Yeah.
But people are managing a lot of different things. Like it's not simple for a lot of people.
I think maybe the popular misconception that people have is that like if you get on a GLP-1, there's no working out. We're just gonna eat. We're just gonna drink protein shakes all day, right? There's no nutritional.
Sometimes that does happen. I'm not gonna lie, for some people, like it really does.
Yeah.
Like,
But
and
I feel like it's really on the opposite end of that. If you really kind of if there was an opportunity like to drive into it and find the market for that there is definitely a space for people who are new to nutrition, who are new to the exercise. There's something, hey, marketing people out there is something out there. There is a space. It's kind of like if you remember curves for women.
Yeah, that was big. Weight Watchers,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
There's a space. There's a space.
Indeed.
I'm always surprised on my podcast or even on my YouTube, like the most basic video, the one that I'm like, this is just really basic. Like the people have to know this. Those are the ones that do the best every time.
Legitimately, one of the most searched for things are what I eat in a day. People and I'm telling you, it's because I'm just going to say it. And I'm sorry, Dad, but diet culture has fucked us up so bad. Like it has gotten us to where we can't trust what to eat. Like that's how bad it is because of all of the cabbage diets and the point counting, because I'm just going to say it. Ultimately, the reason Weight Watchers was as brilliant as it is, and it has stayed business wise only, and has stayed around as long as it has, is because it's the diet you need forever. Right? Because you never actually know all the things that you're eating and your meals and your this and that, what actually the nutritional value is of it. So in order to keep access to it and eat new foods, you got to stay a member, right? Your friends, you got to stay a member. Like the amount, I remember when I got on GLP-1s, my mom came to me and I was losing weight and she goes, I think it's time to get on Weight Watchers again. And I thought to myself, that is so
I said to myself,
like, do you know what I'm saying? Like something's wrong. If we are saying, got to do this diet again, well, then clearly it's not working. What's going on? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's true. Sorry for the F word.
You're
I'm
fine.
trying to
You know, speaking of trauma, because I'm just going to go ahead and get to the question. So,
yeah.
of trauma tracking. So I've come around to tracking. So I just kind of know it's kind of fun to know where I am.
You
It's
gamify
kind
it.
of
That's why.
interesting. You what now?
You gamify it. That's why you like it. 'Cause
It's a game of, it's
you
a game.
gamify it. You gamify it.
It
Yeah.
can be.
Because you'll be like, look what I
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the days when I work out, I'm like, yes, I just earned 500 calories. Yes. Anyway, there's a lot of trauma around tracking, but how do we get this community to like kind of approach it in maybe a strictly just nutritional?
Nutritional. See, that's where it came from. Nutritionalist.
I love it. I heart this nutritionalist. Anyway.
So I think I am not a fan of tracking because of all the diets.
Yeah.
Because of I've counted points, I've counted macros, I've counted this, I've counted that. And I don't ever want to track anything ever again. Ever. Now, there are a lot of people who struggle to eat enough on this medication, right? So they need to have an idea of like, okay, how much protein am I getting? Since I tracked for so long and I am a dietitian, I know about how much protein I'm getting. It's obviously not perfect, right?
Okay.
It's like nutrition counts on the back of labels are not going to be 100% perfect, but good enough. So I recommend, if you're starting and you want to track and you see where you are and, are you getting the protein? Are you getting the fiber? I really only want people, if they're able to just really do those two things and let the other cards fall where they may, because the medication already is going to kind of naturally suppress your caloric intake. So to be like, oh my God, I can only eat 1,200 calories, but you're hungry, right?
Yeah. 1,200, yikes.
I mean, that's what I see all day on Facebook groups. Oh, I only eat 1,000 calories. I only eat 1,200 calories. Like that's not enough for a grown adult of any size. So I think that you're not learning to listen to your hunger. You're not learning to listen to your body. And I think that if you're listening to your body and it's telling you never want to eat, like that's a problem too. But if you're suppressing your hunger that is telling you something because you have to stick with these 1,200 calories that you're tracking, which may not even be that accurate because every study has said that people significantly underestimate how much they're actually eating.
That's fair.
So I just think I would prefer people to focus on just that protein, their fruits and vegetables, and let go. I mean, if you love it and you're playing yourself a game and you win a prize or whatever it is, like that's fine. But if it's like, oh my God, I got to track. Oh my God, if you get into your head about it or it feels tedious for you, just let it go. Just let it go.
Okay. So I would say for on a spectrum, I'm going to, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm not summarizing you correctly here. For those of us who like to do it. And I am not live or die by that tracker, but I do like to go think. Anyway,
Like games.
but a little game. Think. Basically, just make sure that you get like your nutrients in. You get your proteins and your fruits and vegetables in, so we all can be healthy. And take your multivitamin. Oh, I want to ask you that about a quality vitamin. What's your opinion on that? What sort of vitamins should we be looking for, especially like in this age or the perimenopause group? And beyond?
I think that all people on GLP-1 probably need a multivitamin. I, as a person who the last 10 years actually worked for the supplement industry, and there really isn't that much of a difference between them. They do have some for people over 50 or whatever who maybe have different nutrient needs. So one that's a gender-based one, an age-based one would be a good idea, but any quality brand would work. There's a lot of them, Garden of Life, Nature Made. There's a ton of them out there. I like gummy vitamins because I don't like swallowing pills. So that's what I do personally. Doesn't have to be that at all. So I think you need one, but I'm not married to anything in particular.
Interesting. I will tell you, like, people ask me all the time to like recommend supplements, and I will just give like generic things as opposed to like a thing because it's hard when you're because supplements aren't FDA approved, and I feel weird being like, go take this thing. Like, if I'm saying go take a GLP-1, that's on the doctor. Like, that's between you and your doctor. You know what I'm saying? But I think like I am a big probiotic, digestive enzyme girly, and I can't eat enough fiber, so I also take a fiber gummy, and that helps me a lot. And then I do stool softeners. I don't know if I need to do stool softeners anymore, to be honest. I think I've been on it long enough. I may not need to, because the fiber really does the trick. You know what I mean?
Drink some more water, Kim. And I can say this with
She's right. I
with
don't.
fact.
She's right. I don't. Yeah.
Also, Gianna's book, she mentions in there, it's also to definitely take a quality vitamin, not like a crappy one, like don't go to the dollar store for your
No, sure.
right?
Sure.
Unless
it's all you can afford, then just get it in.
Better than nothing, but there's plenty of brands that are not terribly expensive that you could easily get for like $20-$30 a month, which I think are fine. But yeah, and then I really don't have a lot of recommendations for other types of supplements. I think a probiotic is fine if it's something that, works with your digestive health, a fiber supplement, if you need it, just watch. You need to have water with that, because or else it's going to make things worse. I like some of those magnesium supplements that help with like temporary constipation. You shouldn't be taking that every single day. And I take a vitamin D because I spend a lot of time indoors in the winter, and it's gloomy in Tennessee. So I try to do that just like 6 months out of the year. But it's not a recommendation across the board. It really needs to be based on like what your, needs are in terms of your health.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Because but I think like everybody, they all want to know, like they all have kind of like these main like FAQs, which is like, what do I eat? How do I need to exercise? Like how often? I do think that when we started, like, I think most of us, we know anything. You know what I mean? And now we have this like thriving community. But the reason that we do is because people started having shows and doctors started creating content and all these different things, And I just hope that like when people are searching that they'll come here. Like my concern though is that I think that the point of entry to get people this information is going to be the doctor's office, and it's going to be the doctor saying, talk to the dietitian, so that they can find these community resources, because I don't know necessarily how likely it is that a 65-year-old with obesity is going to go to TikTok, right? Or to YouTube or to podcasts. I just don't know. Like, I don't know what those stats are, but it doesn't seem very likely. And I'm just making an assumption, because my mom is better at all the things than I am, and she's 70. So who knows, but I might be wrong, but like, I'm concerned about people getting the proper information. And so I think I love the idea of just like finding a way to get these dietitians ramped up to understand, like, even if they just understand, like, the thing is if you look at it, there's no way that you guys haven't had patients, right, with obesity that haven't had regain, or that you haven't seen. I'm seeing this girl. There's no way. Like, she's eating this and she's moving like this, and I believe her. But why isn't she small? Right? There's no way you guys haven't seen that and been like, what's happening? And the answer, it's biology, right? So I think like I worry, because I think that's the need right there, like you just said. I would hope everybody would tell people that. And I think in terms of like, I wanted to talk a little bit about like this whole idea of metabolic rate, and I wanted to see if you had information on that, because everybody's always like, okay, what's my resting metabolic rate? Like, why is it important?
So how do you get it? Like, how do you factor it? All right.
Yeah. So your resting metabolic rate is just what you burn at rest. So your heart still beats, your brain still works, you're still breathing. All of that burns calories, and it's actually quite a lot. So you can get it tested. They have these like breathing machines that you can go into, and various ways that you can test it. Some gyms offer that. I went to a conference recently where I had to sit in a chair and like breathe into this machine, and it told me my resting metabolic rate. And it was like, I weigh 155 pounds. So it was like about 1,400 calories that I would burn without getting out of bed.
Yeah.
I just laid there all day. So that is, based on your age, based on your size, based on, your muscle mass. It's a lot of different factors that go into that. And then you have just like your activities of daily living, which is brushing your teeth, walking around your house, doing that. That's probably another 300 calories or so, also dependent on your size. And then you have whatever you might burn from like intentional exercise. So that kind of is your daily metabolism for the day.
Yeah.
And so like when you do your tracking, you add those calories that you burned from the exercise onto what your metabolism is.
Yeah. What about, how do you feel about we tell people a lot in the community to go to the TDEE calculator. And if they're not going to talk to their doctor, because that's a whole nother podcast for the day. But like people come to us before they go to the doctor because the trust is so broken, right? Which is just terrifying. Like it's just like,
It's
don't
expensive.
ask me, go talk to your doctor. But they come, they trust us who have this right before that. But I was wondering what you thought about that. Do you think that's at least a good guide if
Yes.
they're not willing to do that? Okay, good.
Yeah, it is, because it calculates, I think, your age, your gender, your activity level. It's got a lot of different numbers that you kind of plug in there, and that will give you an estimate of how much you're burning. So that's like if you don't want to get a test. Of course, that's going to vary, right? Because there's a lot of different factors that are going to go into it. It doesn't take into account muscle mass. It doesn't take into account other things that could be slowing or changing your metabolism.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to start.
It's a good place. Yeah. When people come to you, whether they're on a GLP-1 or not, and they hit stalls and plateaus, do you have like nutrition advice that you can give them that may help them in this area?
I think you just have to look at what is going on with that individual. So I remember recently somebody came to me, I haven't lost anything on the GLP-1, but I also haven't been drinking my water or eating my protein or doing anything that I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm like, well, then not sure how to help you, because you got to do all those things. Right. So sometimes I think people kind of fall off the bandwagon of the habits that are going to support the GLP-1.
Yeah.
And then I think that also understanding that stalls are going to happen. So you should expect to stall. I've seen people online say, oh, I haven't lost weight this week. Like, you're not going to lose every week.
Yeah.
And so seeing, setting some realistic expectations around how weight loss works and that it's not like this.
Yeah.
And then, I
People
think
who are
that
listening, she's saying linear. It doesn't always go straight down. For our listening
down.
audience.
It kind of goes
Yeah.
like that, like up and down a little bit. So just setting those sort of expectations. And then, if you need or are able to increase the dose, that could be an option for some people. If you're not on the highest dose, that kind of helped me get the last few sort of pounds off. And then I think we don't really take into account that much how much stress and sleep and hormones play into our weight.
Yeah.
So it's,
oh my gosh, the sleep.
Yes, the sleep is a big, huge deal. And then the stress, how much stress we're under. And like somebody wrote me the other day, oh, I'm going through a divorce and my job is this and I'm doing that. But I can't lose weight. I'm like, well, I don't think that now's the time for you. I'm sorry.
That's so interesting. Now's not the time for you. I think that's like, I think that's such good advice. Like sometimes you're just going through some shit. And if you want to try to eat nutritiously and see if it helps you, fine. But like, don't pay attention to the damn scale. Like,
I agree.
Yeah. Like
Kim,
that all plays such a big role. Well, we know Kim's going through it right now.
You are. Kim, you sound like that little girl in the video. Have you guys seen the video? She's about 6 or 7 years old, and her dad's like, hey, so-and-so, what's going on? And the little girl responds, I'm just going through some shit.
I'm going through some shit.
It's true.
I'm going to call my nutritionalist. That was for you, Kat.
I love it. Going through some shit.
Well, this has been a great conversation. I want to make sure everybody knows where to find you. We will put all of the links in the show notes, but can you go ahead and just give us the verbal plug so they know where to get you?
Sure. Oh, yeah. So my podcast and YouTube channel are both GLP-1 Hub. And I have a website of the same name and Instagram and all the places.
Easy. That's easy.
GLP-1 Hub.
Love it.
I would love to connect with all the people and hope that you find some value out of the content that I've worked so hard to create.
Yeah. If you're a podcast person, go follow the podcast. Okay. We got all work together. I think that's where we're at here. Like, I think I've just realized that like a lot of stuff happens with education, right? Like, but coming through and just like learning from all of these experts, it helps me realize that none of us can do this alone. You know what I mean? And
Not
this
at all.
system is already broken. So how do we
Mhm.
stitch it together in something that will work for all of us? And I think that this could be an answer, like, because the infrastructure exists a little, and how do we like piggyback off of that? And how do we get, you know, all of these dietitians ramped up so where they understand the importance of all this, so they can have these conversations with us, because all those ones where we've had those conversations with you about still being a big body and, not getting on track and falling off a cliff and all these different things that we feel, right? That's all still happens. Like those are all still very real things that we experience on or
Mhm.
off this medicine. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And
So
they're coming. They're just scared.
they're scared.
Invite them along.
Yeah, we will. And we'll have them on the show.
Yeah.
We'll talk and it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for coming and watching or listening wherever you are. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share all the things, and please give us a review. We need it. Help. Okay. Ask ChatGPT how to do it. Okay. I know it can be weird.
I know, it's like we said in the beginning, leave your
Help.
speculations. You never know.
Reviews are everything. When you don't get
Mhm.
them, then you get further down. And then how are we going to help anybody? We need you to give us reviews. Okay. Thanks. Love you. And we will see you next week. Hasta la pasta.
Hasta la pasta.
Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again, and the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you have this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plussides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plussides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details. Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard.
Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.